For some reason, backward moves are more difficult to see for chess players. Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with number 140 in the series Viewers Games. If you would like your game to be analyzed on the Chess to Impress YouTube channel, you can send it to me by email to classroomchess64@gmail.com. It is the turn of Bojan Rankovic. Hello Rick, I follow your channel on YouTube and I think that your work is outstanding. I have one game for you that I played against my ex-soccer coach, and now he is my work colleague. It is a very crazy game. Please analyze this game, and if you think that it is interesting, you may publish the game on your channel. I am 28 years old, professor of Phys culture. I started to play chess when I was 5 years old. My grandpa taught me to play. When I was 8 years old, I stopped to play when I started primary school. But chess remained my first love. I started to play soccer very successfully and came back to chess some 6 or 7 years ago, says Bojan. I'm not sure what country Bojan is from. I tried to figure it out from the email. It could be Serbia, but I'm not sure, and I hope I didn't insult you, Bojan, if you're not from Serbia. Anyway, this game was played on Lichess and Bojan was white. He goes under the name of Bojan Rankovic 92 on Lichess. His rating was 1776 and his opponent, his ex-soccer coach, goes under the name of Sreko Djokovic 1 and had a rating of 1749, so very similar ratings. It was a bliss game on Lichess, 10 minutes for the whole game, no increment. And as we'll see, that will play an important role in this game. It was played on the 15th of July 2019 and Bojan opened with the e-pawn. c5, the Sicilian, knight f3 and knight f6. This is the 6th most popular option in this position. It's somewhat provocative, but it's playable if you know what you're doing. Bojan decided to kick that knight. Knight d5 and kick it again with c4. Knight b6. It has some similarities with the Alekhin defense, but this opening is called the Nimzowitsch-Rubinstein variation of the Sicilian. d4, striking in the center, c takes, knight takes, and now queen c7 on move 6. And according to my database, this position hasn't occurred before. It shows how rich our game is that after 6 logical moves we already have a completely new position. Black is now attacking the c4 pawn twice, it's only defended once, and he's also attacking the e5 pawn. So a double attack from black. And Bojan can play bishop f4 here, protecting the e5 pawn, because if then black takes on c4, then there is queen c2 and black is in trouble. He's too far behind in development and his pieces are too awkwardly placed. For starters, the knight is pinned. So bishop f4 would have been a good move here, but in this position Bojan decided to keep the c-pawn, played b3 and dropped the e-pawn with check. Black took it. Bishop e2 interposing, knight c6 developing, bishop b2, the bishop on the long diagonal, and we have some tactical opportunities with the bishop indirectly attacking black's queen, but the engine says e6 is the best move in this position. Black doesn't have to be afraid of knight jumps as the bishop on b2 is unprotected. For example, knight takes c6 would be a big blunder because of queen takes b2 and the rook is hanging and the knight is hanging. This is very good for black. Black wins here. And the move e6 also just enables black to continue development. But after bishop b2, black decided not on e6, he took on d4. And after bishop takes, attacking the queen went to g5. White castled, and we can say that white has great compensation for the pawn that he is down because of his superior development and his beautiful bishops that are already in the open. Black only has 2 pieces developed. The queen is not even that good on g5 and he is a long way from castling. Black played d5 And Bojan replied with c5, kicking the knight. Knight to d7 and f4, kicking the queen. Queen went to h6. Things are getting better and better for white. He has been able to kick black's only developed pieces back into more passive positions, the knight and the queen. And he has a large advantage, despite being a pawn down. Here knight c3 is a great move, attacking d5. And if black plays e6 defending the pawn, then there is knight b5, threatening knight c7 with a fork. That way white will keep black busy defending against white's threats and keep his large advantage. But instead of knight c3, a very logical move, Bojan played b4, going ahead on the queen side. a6, a4, e6, and now knight c3. And here is a strange moment. Black played a6, a5 after 1 minute and 9 seconds of thought. And this move is hard to understand. It is inviting the knight to b5. Please come into my house and make yourself comfortable. Very strange move, a5. What he should have played is bishop e7, followed by castling. In the last few moves, black has been able to stop white's main threats and has been able to get somewhat developed. And putting the king safe is very important, as we'll see. But a5 was played, and now indeed Bojan does not hesitate and plays knight b5 with a threat of knight c7 with a nice fork on king and rook. So king d8. That king could have been safely on g8 by now, but now it is in the firing line on d8. Here the strongest move is knight d6 with a threat of knight takes f7, and that forks almost all black's heavy pieces. Black then has to take on d6, and after c takes d6, white wants to play bishop b5 and queen c2 and enter black's position over the c file. Great advantage for white. But in this position, Bojan decided not on knight d6, he played queen c1 instead. And now rook a6 is the best move according to the engine, trying to hang on for dear life, stopping the c6 move for the moment. But instead of rook a6, black played a takes b4, taking a pawn there. And that move does not do anything for black, because now Bojan strikes with c6, exclamation mark, very good move, played after 2 seconds. B takes c6, queen takes c6, and that is attacking the rook in the corner. So rook b8, and now queen c7 check. Bojan plays all the strongest moves. King e8, and now there are many good options for white. Knight a7 is the strongest one, attacking the bishop on c8, threatening to win a piece. And after bishop b7 there is bishop b5, and white has so many threats, white will win at least a piece in this position. Black cannot keep everything together. But guess what? What happened in this position? Many good options for white, as said. Knight a7 is the strongest one, but Bojan played a move that you would not really expect. He played queen takes b8, double question mark, because that rook was protected. It was played after 2 seconds by Bojan. Ouch. For some reason, backward moves are more difficult to see for chess players, even very strong players, than forward moves. And Bojan is not the first one to fall for a backwards move, and he will not be the last one. Of course, black took the queen and has won a queen for a rook. The tables have turned and now black is winning. But the game goes on. a5 from Bojan. He's not a man that gives up. Here black can play bishop e7, and then after, for example, rook f to c1, black would love to castle to protect the bishop on c8 and get a safe king, but that is against the rules of the game. The king has already moved from e8 to d8 and back to e8. And as my friend Albert says, if black castles here, then we would have to call the World Chess Federation. Of course, in online chess this is not a problem, because the software will not allow the black king to castle here. After a5, black played king d7. Rook a to c1, And here knight c6 is the best move, but black made a mistake. He played bishop d6 instead. And now Bojan can win a piece back. He did not see it. This is a nice moment to look for yourself. Put the video on pause. How does white win a piece here? It's quite nice. You take on d6, and after the king takes back, there is bishop e5 check. With his skewer, the knight on b8 is unprotected. King e7, bishop takes b8, and white is still lost, but at least he has won a piece back for his large material deficit. So bishop d6 was a mistake from black, but Bojan didn't see it. He played knight a7, and now black decided to win a pawn. He took on f4. Bishop a6 would have been a much better move, defending against the move bishop b5, which is an annoying move for black. After bishop a6, black is easily winning, but if we look at the clock, we see that this game is still on. Black had dropped under 2 minutes, while Bojan still had more than 7 minutes left. And even though black is a lot of material up, the position doesn't play itself. There are still a lot of pieces on the board, and black's king is vulnerable. And it's not clear where the king will find some peace. So in the practical game, Bojan can annoy his opponent from many angles and for many moves. Bishop takes f4 was played instead of the very good bishop a6. And there comes that annoying move, bishop b5 check. King d6, another check. King e5 and another check. King f6 was played, and now g3 pins the bishop. White is going to win material back. Black now only has one move to keep an advantage, and that's not easy to find. It is e6, e5. The only move that keeps a large advantage for black. If white now takes the piece, his own king will also become vulnerable and will be harassed by black's queen and bishop. For example, g takes f4, then there is a check. King h1 and the bishop comes to f5, and these are possible ideas for black. But black did not find that e6, e5 move. He played queen g5. For the moment the bishop cannot be taken by the pawn because the pawn is pinned, but of course white can take with the rook. Rook takes f4. The g-pawn is pinned, but it's still protecting the rook on f4. And the chase on black's king continues. King g6. Black had only 46 seconds left till the end of the game. No increment in this game. And that is not enough in a crazy game like this with a badly exposed king. Bojan still had more than 5 minutes on the clock. He played bishop d3 check, f5 and knight takes c8. Removing the defender of the e6 pawn. After rook takes, the rook gives a check on e6. King f7 and rook e7 check, played after 1 minute and 1 second. Very interesting. Even though black was down to his last seconds, Bojan does not play his moves very quickly. And that's the right way to play. If you have time left, use the time, even if your opponent is in terrible time trouble. Rook e7 check was played, and here comes a mistake. King g8, it's understandable that black goes to the back rank, trying to finally find some peace for the king behind the pawn shield, but it is a mistake. Instead, black could have played queen takes e7, giving material back, and after bishop takes, king takes, the position is simplified. It's about equal as well, and black will be able to play very quickly here. But after king g8, Bojan played a6, and that is not a very good move. He could have played bishop takes f5 instead, and that is a very hard move to find. It was pointed out to me by the engine. What is the point? Are you not just blundering that bishop on c5? No, you're not, because there is a mate in 2 here. Do you see it? Yes, bishop e6 check. The king has to go in the corner, and this is checkmate. So after bishop takes f5, you cannot take that bishop on c5. Your rook is attacked on c8, and if you play something like rook d8, then there is rook e5, a computer move, threatening bishop takes h7 check, which would win the queen. And also it's threatening bishop e7 with a fork on queen and rook. Rook e5, what a move. And white is winning here. So in this position, bishop takes f5 is the best move. Very difficult move to find. a6, as said, was played instead by Bojan, and that pawn was taken. bishop takes, and now you can take on c5, and black is winning again. But not really, because here black is down to 8 seconds already. He did not find bishop takes c5, he must have been in total panic mode. And instead of taking that piece, he played g6. And now black is giving away the house with no time on the clock. The rook was taken, queen takes e7, that queen was taken, king f7, the pawn was taken, d4, and that pawn was taken as well. And black lost on time here. White still had 3 minutes on the clock. Black has hardly any pieces left. What a game! In some ways these games are more entertaining than Grandmaster games, as we can all relate to it. And it's exciting to see the ups and downs and swings and roundabouts in a game like this. It was a true roller coaster of a game. And many thanks to you, Bojan, for sharing this game. Well played, I admire your fighting spirit after you so unluckily blundered your queen. Never give up! This is another great example of that important life and chess rule. I hope you enjoyed Bojan's adventure in this game. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up, please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel, and please leave a comment. I will read them all and I will reply to them all. If you liked the video, then please share it on social media by clicking the share button on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter and on Facebook. This is Rick for Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.